Now, what happens when income changes? Very similarly, when income increases, you have more budget, you have more opportunities. Opposite being true too. So now we can look at what happens in the effect where on your purchases when your income changes. And there are two possible directions. One is you could buy more as your income goes up. That's called a normal good. Normally, if you get more money, you buy more things. And think of airline travel just for the moment here. However, there are some items that if you get more money, you buy less. That's strange. You could afford more, right? Yes, you can afford more, but you don't want it. So let's say you ride on a bus or on a train. Well, if you have a lot of income increase, you might say, well, I can just call an Uber, call a cab, or buy a car, or I don't need to ride a train or a bus. I can fly an airplane to get to where I want to go. So an example of a normal good would be air travel. An example of an inferior good might be bus travel because of those dynamics. Let's look at what happens when income changes. Again, the beginning point is initial equilibrium. A raise allows you to buy more of anything, and it moves in parallel fashion because the prices didn't change. So here, the red line represents the new budget line that is available because of your raise. Now, because of that, we could shift up the indifference curve and therefore have more satisfaction, right? So we'll go from IC1 to IC2, and now we're able to buy more of both good X and Y, which means both are normal goods. If one had gone down as income went up, that would be an inferior good. But both of these went up, and therefore they're both normal goods. Now, we could do a little bit further analysis of saying, looking at substitution and income effects. And this is what happens when there's a price change. So the substitution effect means that because the price went up, we may move away from that product toward the other product. That's substitution. And the other aspect is a price increase is essentially like you getting a cut in your wages. So there's an income effect where your buying power has just gone down. So we're going to separate in those two regards. So we're starting with the same base idea. And we have an income effect from the price going up. We now have to shift our behavior because we can't afford where we were at point A, so we drop to point C. Now here's where we're going to do a little bit more intricate analysis, right? So this orange line represents what would happen magically if your income allowed you to stay on the original indifference curve. So that would intersect at point B. So notice that if you had comparable income to achieve the same indifference curve, you would shift away from buying X and toward buying Y, right? So this is called the substitution effect, that by virtue of the price change, your behavior would change anyway, even if you had the money. But you don't have the money. So the gap between A and C, the old equilibrium to the new, is broken into a substitution effect, which is the change in X given the price change. And then this is the income effect, which is essentially like your buying power went down, and therefore this came down because of income effect. So this breaks out a big move from A to C into two components, substitution and income.